What is going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're going to be having a comparison between the Moto G of 2025 and the Moto G Power of 2024. Let's go ahead and get started. One of the main things that I wanted to focus on in this video is overall value, which is pretty much what my channel is based around when it comes to mobile devices or just tech in general. One of these devices is 200 bucks and the other one is 150 bucks. But in this case here, the 25 is actually 50 bucks more than the 24. But as you can see, we have button layouts that are pretty much identical. Volume up and down keys above the power button there. Now, interesting thing is that both of these power keys double as a fingerprint scanner. On the top, you can see the microphone layout is pretty much the same. And on the left side of the devices, you got your SIM tray slot. And if we look at the bottom here, similar as well too, like really similar. You can see you got Type-C charging, headphone jack, loudspeaker, and an additional mic. And on the top of each one of these devices here, there is a speaker grill. So see if the Pixel can get that speaker grill up there and a speaker grill up there. So one thing that I do want to mention here is that the Moto G is on Android 16, while the G Power is on Android 15. So where the difference is that both of them share a 50 megapixel main sensor, and for the G Power is 8 megapixel ultra wide, and for the G regular G it's just a 2 megapixel macro. Not sure why they went that route, but I guess they wanted to give people another reason to spend a little bit more money to get the ultra wide camera on the more premium device. Now, another thing too is that the Moto G of 2025 is going to have a 720p display, while the Moto G Power is going to have a full HD display. Now, both displays are 120 hertz refresh rate, so you don't have to worry about 60 hertz or anything of that nature, which is a nice thing for Motorola. The internals is where things are a little different, or should I say slightly different. When it comes to numbers on Geekbench, you can see with the G, we're looking at 728 for the single core and 1688 for the multi-core. And on the Moto G Power, we have a single core score of 911 and a multi-core score of 2283. In similar fashion, the AnTuTu benchmark score is actually going to be a 50,000 point difference as well. So as far as horsepower, this is going to have a little bit more than this one here, but the regular G by no means is a slow phone. Now, there is reason for that horsepower difference. With the Moto G, you have the Dimensity or MediaTek Dimensity 6300, and the Moto G Power, you have the MediaTek Dimensity 7020. And you also got to factor in the fact that it has double the amount of RAM. Internal storage is pretty much the same. Now, battery life is going to be amazing amongst both of these devices here. They both have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. They both have the capability of charging at 30 watt wired charging. The only difference is that the Moto G Power of 2024 is going to have the capability of charging wirelessly, and that's at 15 watts. Now, as far as battery life, both of them are going to be really good. It doesn't matter if you run it on 60 hertz. It doesn't matter if you run it on 120 hertz. 5,000 milliamp hours is 5,000 milliamp hours, and that's definitely an all-day battery. Now, between both of these devices, I did mention this earlier, the G is going to have a 720p display, and the Moto G Power is going to have a full HD display. Now, both of these videos are going to be upscaled to 1440p at 60 frames per second, but the only difference is that one is going to be HDR, G Power, and one isn't, the Moto G. So let's go ahead and play both of these videos here at the same time, and you guys tell me if you see a difference in quality there. And G Power is on top, Moto G is on the bottom. So don't get me wrong, both of these screens look absolutely amazing. They look amazing on both of these displays, but the HDR is definitely popping a little bit more than the Moto G. It just is. So when it comes to the camera on both of these devices, both of them are going to produce similar quality photos. There's just no question about that. It's just the difference is going to be, one is going to be having the ability of taking a picture with ultra wide, like an ultra wide lens, and the other one is just going to be strictly macro. And then as far as digital or zooming, you can go 2 times on both cameras, and then there's macro mode as well too. So yeah, not a lot of differences there, but the main thing is the wide angle camera on the rear. And then as far as the front camera, As you guys can see, yeah, quality is going to be pretty much similar. They both have a 16 megapixel selfie camera, so when it comes to quality, it's not going to be much difference at all. And as mentioned in the beginning of the video, both of these have a fingerprint sensor on the side, so you literally just tap your finger here. And as far as the unlocking speed, it's pretty similar amongst both. And it's a pretty reliable fingerprint scanner too. So you don't have to worry about one being better than the other. They're pretty much the same. So overall, when it comes to the Moto G phones, whether there's the previous year or the current year, you always got to do a little research because you could be getting a little bit better of a phone from the previous year or even the current year sometimes, but it's a matter of making sure you find it for the right money. This is a perfect example right here. This phone is as good, in my opinion, as this phone. Now, if you're wondering, this is the Moto Edge of 2025, and this is the Moto G Stylus of 2024. And when I compare these phones side by side, obviously certain things are going to be different, display quality and whatnot, but I think this one's a little bit better, especially when it comes to gaming. Full review is coming up on the Moto Edge pretty soon, but the main point of this video here is to show you that sometimes even spending a little bit less, you get more for the money. So let's sum everything up here. Similarities on the side when it comes to fingerprint scanners, volume up and down keys, SIM tray slots, Type-C charging on the bottom, headphone jack, loudspeaker. Differences when it comes to cameras on the rear. Both of them share a main 50 megapixel sensor, 8 megapixel on the G Power, and a 2 megapixel macro on the regular Qi. Now, both of these devices share a similar battery size, and they both charge at the same speed in terms of wired charging, but the G Power is going to have wireless charging. You're also going to have a more powerful CPU inside of the G Power. You're going to have 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs in the G Power as well. While in the Moto G, you're going to have 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage. And then another thing as well is the fact that the G Power is going to have a full HD display, while the Moto G is going to have a 720p display. So basically, you can spend 150 bucks and get this device, or you can spend $199 and get this device. But in the comment section below, what do you guys think? Do you prefer the Moto G of 2025 or the Moto G Power of 2024? Let me know. But be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your family and friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.